150,000. Guys, 150,000 army unit is marching towards this country. 100,000 of them are active personnel and 50,000 of them are from the paramilitary. Which country I'm talking about? And all of this army, these weapons, the personnel, all of them are heading towards Israel, because Israel is now facing moment of truth. They could easily be destroyed by this country if they do what they did in the past to Israel. What I'm talking about, this country, if you remember what happened in 1948-49, there was the Arab-Israel war. This country took part in this war. Then this country took part in the same conflict with the Israeli in 1967. The same country took part against Israel, a war that happened in 1973. 3 wars they fought against this Zionist regime in the past. They are now hell-bent to destroy this country Israel once and for all. And this is why they're preparing this 150,000 army marching towards Israel, so that this could be the end of Israel and they would not have to fight any more war with Israel in the coming years or perhaps in decades. Which country I'm talking about? Things are getting pretty bad. It's not looking good for Israel at all. Before I tell you which country is that and how this army is marching, I just want to remind you that most of my viewers are not subscribed. Consider subscribing if you are not subscribed yet, if you want to get all the updates. Now let's talk about what is happening at the moment. I actually did some research and found out there is a documented video. Like, this video has some good inside information. Let's take a look at this video.
Alright, let's dive in. This nation is flexing with a solid 100,000 active personnel.
Wow.
And if that's not enough to impress you, throw in another 50,000 from their paramilitary. Quick math? That's a grand total of 150,000 troops. But here's a twist. With all that muscle, they're chilling at the 64th spot globally in military rankings. But hey, don't underestimate them. With Iran possibly in their corner, they could get a serious firepower boost.
And this is what I want to talk about first. Iran supporting this nation, and that nation is called Syrian people, the Syrian military. Now there is a hadith that talks about the end of time prophecies, and it mentions the place Syria many times in the form of Sham. And we all know that Damascus is going to play a big role when the end of time Mahdi, the Christ or Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, will come on earth. Now this place is getting ready for that, and this is the place where the Mahdi will come. So it has significance in terms of end of time eschatology in Islamic study. Syria right now, they are under tremendous attack from Israel. The main reason for that is because Iran is supporting them. As this video referred, with Iranian firepower, Iran is almost using Syria as a proxy to fight against Israel. Because Israel is attacking Syrian airports, destroying Damascus infrastructure, the building, regardless of what they're doing against Israel. The very fact that they are with Iran and that Iran is helping them, supporting them, because remember, Bashar al-Assad, he is a Shia, is enough for Israel to attack Syria. But they are very cautious at the same time. Why? Because Russia is involved in Syria. So their operation inside Syria is limited. But it is very consistent. It is very regular. Means Israel sees Syria as a legitimate target. Syria took this hit from Israel for the last so many years, several years, especially after the civil war in Syria. Israel is taking full advantage of the country's lawlessness. There is nobody in power, really. I mean, Bashar al-Assad is being propped up by only Putin now. They are taking full advantage of this country that doesn't have a leader, and they're attacking Syria over and over again. Now is the time for Syria to fight back because of the war with Hamas and Israel. And they are now marching, they are now preparing this military to take on more responsibilities to attack and also at the same time to defend their own country. Iran made it very, very clear, Raisi and Khomeini, that Syria belongs to them because of the significance it has in regards to end of time. So the Shia, they are actually taking it away from us, and also the Christian like Putin, they are taking full advantage of Syria. Therefore, this country will be backed up by these forces, Russian forces led by Putin and Iranian forces led by Raisi. When you mix them up, this is the only country that can be backed up by this powerful nation, Iran and Russia. And this is the only country that is taking hit from Israel. And this is the only country that can be used as a proxy, as I said, to attack Israel. And that way, Iran can stay away largely from any direct involvement in this war. And at the same time, Russia can also achieve a lot using Syria. So unfortunate for Syria, but I mean the qadr of Allah, which is that this nation, this country will play a very, very significant role for the end of time. And this is exactly what is unfolding right in front of our eyes.
Now, when we talk about their army, Syria ain't playing games. Those 150,000 troops, they're rolling deep with 669 rocket artillery units, a whopping 3,225 manual artillery units. And let's not forget the 319 automatic artillery units. And there's more where that came from. They've got a stash of 41,148 armored vehicles and a solid 2,616 combat tanks. Speaking of tanks, let's chat about Syria's pride and joy, the T-72 Adra. This tank is basically the T-72's twin, thanks to some teamwork with Russia. This metal beast has been on the scene since 1973 and is still making its presence felt.
Now, to make things even more interesting, Russia has supplied all of this to Syria. We know that, and Russia is going to be testing them against Israeli forces. Putin already made it very, very clear which side he is on, and he is not with Israel. Israeli experts, ministers, they are now saying that Putin must apologize or else face consequence for supporting Hamas. Putin also holding talks with Hamas directly in Moscow, giving them advice, even I would say weapons. And at the same time, we see because of Hamas, because their willingness to fight against Israel, Putin is becoming more and more convinced that they can have complete control over Middle East if they support Hamas or Hezbollah or Iran and get rid of Israel, or at least diminish their power. This is something very, very important for Putin. If you want to control the whole world, you must control Jerusalem. That's what one expert said. Putin is eyeing for that, for the Russian Empire to come back to the world. He must conquer Jerusalem. He must have all of these Middle Eastern countries under his leadership. This is his end goal. And right now, with this situation, we all know Erdogan, he's a good friend with Putin. So Turkish forces is going to help Putin to get rid of who? The Zionists. And also Putin's ultimate goal, not only just to attack or diminish the power of Israel, but also to destroy the United States, which it considers to be the biggest threat, biggest enemy. Well, things are looking absolutely, absolutely bad for Israel. If this army, the Syrian army, they march and they decide that we're going to take active part in this war, then guess what? Israel is going to face hell. Because these people, they have really nothing to lose from Syria, and they are going to come with all their forces, the power, the firepower from given the firepower they have from Russia and China and Iran, especially Iran and Russia. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have